Welcome to another. Yeah, well, that was a really clunky way to intro to the show. Take two.
This time
Oh,
with
wait, it's
feeling.
live? Oh, no. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Sal, and this is Joel. We're here to talk about Batman voice actors in animated projects. We're going to rank them just like we were ranking all those costumes before. We're going to use the same video game S-tier system. We're going to be A, B, or it's actually S is above A, and then it's A, B, C, D, E, F. So, unlike my grade school English teachers, there is an E in the grading system. There is a grade above F. You could get an E. No. But anyway, I'm excited because we might as well call this the Kevin Conroy Award.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, it's... Look, let's get that out of the way right
There's
now.
no bearing the lead on this one. We know Conroy's the best. We know he is the measuring stick by which all will be judged. He's S. He's might maybe even beyond S.
Exactly. Posthumously, this man has always been, and will always be Batman. Infuses just the right amount of drama and passion and character, and you know, he's got two different voices for Bruce Wayne and Batman, though woefully underutilized towards the latter half of his career as Batman. Sadly. I would say I was just so blown away when I found out that there was one voice actor for both Bruce Wayne and Batman. That scene when he on Leather Wings, where he's in the cave and he is Batman and he hits the button to answer the phone call and he says, "What's up, Doc?" I'm like, that blew my mind.
That should be the audition for every new Batman. You have to do that scene, and you have to be able to change voice and change character on a dime.
You have to switch, and you have to have at least you have to do something different. And please, for the love of God, could you not go, "Where's Rachel?" Could you not do Pete Holmes just making fun of Christian Bale? Because that's like it's the weakest, laziest thing. I'm surprised as hell it is not the default for most, if not all, of the actors here, but one.
Likewise, I was actually pleasantly surprised by that, too, when I went back and revisited a lot of the voices. I'm like, oh, yeah, the whole, grumble, I've been smoking 12 packs a day didn't become a thing until much later. Most actors brought their own thing to it.
Exactly. It's mostly just been, it's Christian Bale and those who make fun of Christian Bale.
Yeah.
That being said, it's funny. It's the dark knightification of the Bat mythos.
Very much so.
Same thing happened to Bane.
Yep.
Bane was Hispanic and interesting until I showed up, and then the Harley Quinn show went, let's take it to the most far extreme.
To the point where, and then like they keep going with it to where it almost comes back around and he starts being an interesting, like, pathos-filled character again. I kind of like love him. Oh, I love him too. He's one of the best. He got a whole episode to himself this season because clearly the writers realized, there's a lot here with this guy. I'm going to be the best pasta maker in all of Italy.
I was just like, for the longest time, and I dropped the show after the last 2 seasons, but like for the first 2 seasons, I'm like, when are you going to put Bane on Quinn's crew? Like, when is she just going to join up with King Shark and everybody else? Like, what the crap? And they didn't. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? It's right there.
No, in fact, in this last season, they went full Venture Brothers with it, where it's like, okay, we're going to actually leave some of these characters on the shelf while we develop new ones. And I'm like, that's probably a good choice for the longevity of the show, but also I miss these other characters.
Very much so. Like, the show is about them. It's called Harley Quinn, but I'm here for everybody.
Yes.
So, yeah, we're talking about these Batman characters. One of the earliest voices for Batman that I remember in animation is also our first on the list here, who is Olin Soul, who played Batman.
First one I remember.
Yeah, he played Batman in the Super Friends cartoon. He played him in the new Batman and Robin Adventures.
Yeah.
And I think he was also Batman in the Scooby-Doo crossovers.
Yes, I believe so. That's very much the time period we're playing with here.
Yeah, and that was my first intro to animated Batman, was the Scooby-Doo crossovers. I remember watching Scooby-Doo as you were, like, back in the day, pre-internet, if you're watching TV, like, you'd watch crap you'd never watch. You'd watch stuff that you had no patience for, and that was my exposure to Scooby-Doo. It's actually, I think it's blasphemous to say nowadays, but I never liked Scooby-Doo. I have no affinity for it. I know. I've never liked Scooby-Doo, and I've watched a ton of Scooby-Doo. And not like hate watching. Just, it's a cartoon and it's on.
Scooby-Doo's the reason I'm a skeptic.
Right. Exactly. My critical thinking skills came from the Mystery Machine. But
no, but like legitimately, hey, question everything. It's always some douchebag real estate developer in a mask is behind everything.
True. Yeah.
Evil.
No, there's a lot of subtext to Scooby-Doo. The concept of these like wealth pursuit will lead to villainy. Supernatural world does not exist, but can be exploited by power-hungry people.
There's shit there.
Yeah, but and also like get high.
Yeah, every day.
But smoke weed every day. But yeah,
yep.
I love I was like, Batman's here. Now you got me, Scooby-Doo. How many of these are there? One? Damn it.
Though they would keep going back to that. Well, I love it's just canon now that Scooby-Doo knows Batman and regularly crosses over with him.
Yes. Have you seen that new shelved tax write-off Scooby-Doo Batman movie where I don't think Batman's in it, but they like get his stuff?
No, I've heard about it though.
It's out. It's out there. You can find it, but I've seen scenes from it and it looks fabulous.
Oh, I bet.
But anyway, Olin Soul, he plays him very much like you can imagine. It's an easy transition from him to Adam West. He plays him very superheroic.
Super.
Yeah, he's a good. I would think that Olin Soul would be a good voice for, and I know this is very like popular right now because Mr. Sunday did a video about it. But the Phantom, any other kind of like King's featured like superhero, like a character from the 30s is just like hello.
Yes, there's a lot of pulpiness. Yeah, he's chippy. He's very your dad. Hey there, true Americans, and fairly like everyone on Super Friends is basically doing the same voice. They're not really infusing a lot of character.
No,
hey, we're doing superhero cartoon voice. This is what we all sound like. Eat your green vegetables and salute the flag 3 times a day.
No, clearly, Olin Soul is just like channeling his inner radio voice. He's like, what am I doing? Am I selling Ovaltine or am I being Batman? One way or another, I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
And then you get Adam West, and he was in the New Adventures of Batman. I'm sorry. So it was actually the Batman and Robin Adventures, and it was Olin Soul. Or rather, Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder. So go ahead.
It's definitely a telemarketer.
But Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder. And then, of course, we got into the New Adventures of Batman, where they just went, we'll just get Adam West. Here, I'll just switch over. We'll just get Adam West. And Adam West, I got to tell you, like, there's something there. As a kid, I watched the Pow Biff Bam Adam West Batman show. It's my first live action Batman of all time. I think the first live action Batman movie I ever saw was that Adam West Batman movie. But he, I got a lot of forgiveness out of Adam West because he was the first and because he was like, hello, like,
indeed,
yeah. But easy transition from live action to animation. I forgive Adam West where I don't really want to watch Olin Soul's Batman for very long.
Yeah.
I think it has everything to do with just the fact that Adam West was Batman. Like,
it's true. And you know what? I'll even go a step farther and give Mr. West even more credit. I think his physical performance actually adds a lot to his Batman performance because he's kind of winking and nodding. He's a much more physical actor than anyone gives him credit for, and that doesn't really come across in the animation, especially because this was like cheaper animation.
Yeah, no, it's true. So he's giving us something. The fact is, clearly West is thinking about it, and Olin Soul is he's like, I'm playing superhero, which no shade to Soul,
no, not at all.
But I liked looking at the show more than I liked hearing Batman, and I think
Absolutely.
Casey Kasem played Robin, which is hilarious.
That's right, he did. Dear Casey, let's go fight some crime.
Here's a letter. Then of course Kevin Conroy asked, Olin Soul, how are we gonna rank him?
Man, I mean, like he's the first one that we've ever heard, so I feel like he needs to get some like nostalgia history points because of that.
Let's give him a C, just for forgiveness sake.
It's a nice baseline.
Yeah, I would give him a D, but I don't want to be cruel to the elderly or the dead. Speaking of which, Adam West.
Yeah,
I guess I'll put him on the same footing because I didn't watch those animated movies where he played Batman again.
Yes, where he can. I almost want to give him like a little higher because West Yeah, and he would return even when he wasn't playing Batman. He was the Gray Ghost. He was Batman's dad in Chill of the Night. So like he always returned. Yeah, even when they did that that animated Two-Face movie, because they never got Two-Face in the old '60s show, but they always wanted to.
Yep.
Yeah, I almost feel like he should be a little above, like at least
let's give him a B.
Yeah, a B, at least. B for Batman.
Yeah, B for Batman, B for Adam West. Then we get to Kevin Conroy, who just completely just dunks on the competition. S tier, S
Legendary.
Forever, legend. He can play Bruce Wayne. He can play Batman. He can sing. He's amazing.
He can do comedy. He did so much in that role. He did commercials. He did the Arkham video games. Like he was there at every level of the character, and he never phoned it in once. He was always giving 110%. And the fact that we know so much more about the story now than we ever did before. In fact, the inspiration for this is, I think, they're re-releasing Mask of the Phantasm. And they did like a new little documentary about it. And so they dug up some new interview stuff with him and everything. And the story is just so beautiful. And even kind of the last story they technically told with him in that Pride Month anthology, where he talked about being a closeted actor and everything, and how that informed the role of Batman when Dini and them were like, hey, can you be a guy who lives in the shadows and lives a secret life and everything? Oh, I think I can do that.
Yeah, that's right. So Kevin Conroy, S tier, always the greatest. We're going to try not to compare everyone to Kevin Conroy.
As hard as it is.
Within the same time frame as Kevin Conroy, we got 2 guest voices for Batman in that show, in the form of Gary Owens, who played the Batman of the 50s. He was much more of the Dick Sprang Batman.
Very much so.
Nailed it.
Sure did.
Incredible, captivating voice for Batman, especially for that version of Batman. I loved it. It was a great choice.
Likewise.
He nailed it. I'm going to say A tier for that version of Batman. I wouldn't want to hear him all the time, but if he is playing Dick Sprang's Batman, 100% nailed it. A.
And they wanted to do that forever. They wanted to do the Dick Sprang Batman, and they wanted to do a black and white Batman, and they got to do that one.
They did that one. I don't think anyone plays Batman unless you use like Kevin Conroy grunts and oofs. Maybe no, he says one thing in that Bruce Timm made black and white, like 30s inspired anniversary special. That one, I think he plays him in that one too. And then of course for the Dark Knight Returns segment of that one episode, Michael Ironside plays Batman, which I love Michael Ironside. He is Darkseid. He will always be Darkseid. I accept no substitutes. That being said, it was an odd choice. I get it. I get the motivation, especially because you're like, I have Michael Ironside, let's use him. I didn't love him as Batman, but compared to who else would play the Dark Knight Returns Batman, I missed him terribly.
Yes, so, you and I are of 2 different minds on this. I actually like RoboCop as Dark Knight Returns Batman. You never have, but then again, I think you are much closer to the story and hold it in much higher regard, so I can understand. Because nothing will match the voice in your head, right?
That's true. But Michael Ironside did get close. But he is doing his best. So I'm going to give him a B.
I do love his line read on Rubber Bullets.
Honest. That's so great. Yeah.
Very matter-of-factly in the way that only Ironside can pull off.
Yeah. He also, his line reading on "You don't get it, son. This isn't a mud hole. It's a trash heap." Or this isn't a mud hole. It's an operating table, and I'm the surgeon. Flawless. So that's great. And then we get back to Kevin Conroy, but then finally we switch things up a little bit when we get to, video games and stuff. I don't know if we're going to count Dark Tomorrow. I really don't want to get into that.
Or Ron Perlman in that Justice League game, which is fucking hilarious because Ron Perlman was all over the DC universe and all over Batman the Animated Series. He was Clayface, and these video game people just didn't give a shit. It's like, Ron Perlman, why not? Which, no shade to Ron Perlman. No. Amazing actor. One of our greatest living actors. But boy, is it jarring to hear his voice coming out of Batman.
Yes. The big change was in 2004 when we got The Batman. New show, and I understood we had to do a new show. I didn't want a new show. I felt like we had Batman, we had Batman Beyond. I don't know if we can count Terry, but let's count him. Will Friedle
or whatever. Yeah, he's great.
Friedle. He's great as Terry McGinnis as that Batman. He's just as good. I'd say S tier for young Batman. He's a fantastic new Batman. He does 2 voices.
Yeah, he launched that character. I can only read that character in that voice, and they've never tried to recast him and never tried to do anything else with him.
Good.
Yeah.
Then we got The Batman, which was like a weird show. I don't know who asked for this show, and I definitely avoided it for the longest time. But having revisited it over the years, periodically, I can say that I loved the design work. I loved the animation style, and I think Rino Romano did a nice job.
Yeah, again, he really grew into the role. Also, hey, we talk about this a lot on the show, comic books, especially superhero comic books, interpretation when it comes to Italian-American people, how they're never usually shown to be good. And yet, hey, Batman, in our research for this, a lot of Italian guys have voiced Batman over the years.
That's true. I liked Rino Romano. I think I didn't really get too much of a difference between him and Bruce Wayne, but I think at this point, his Bruce Wayne voice is also his Batman voice because he's very young.
Yes, youth, I would say. If I had to sum up that performance in one word, it would be youth. He's the younger Batman who's still figuring it out, still putting it together.
Exactly. He did a nice job. I'd say A. I think he did a really great job. Like I miss it sometimes, and it didn't. There are some voice actors for Batman where once it hits the ear, I'm like, either you're trying too hard or don't even bother. There are a lot of don't even bothers, and you do better if you just got out of your own way.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that has a lot to do with Andrea Romano.
Oh, probably.
Just being the world's greatest voice actor.
Greatest living voice director. Yeah. Again, truly when she is gone from this world, we will have lost something special, and a lot of things will probably sound worse.
Well, she's already retired, so she's already out of the business. It sucks, but
yeah.
While we're transitioning to the next phase, I should mention that this show is sponsored by viewers like you. You're watching the show live, you can ask a super chat or contribute to the show, and we'll read it here on the show. You'll be part of the show forever. Like What's It About Them, who says, shout out to Andrea Romano, casting director and voice director for basically all DC animated shows and movies from Batman the Animated Series till Justice League Gods and Monsters. That's right. Yeah.
She also did SpongeBob for like 30 years.
That's awesome.
Which blows me away. I'm like, that's fucking range is what that is.
That's right. Peter Tennant says 1 Conroy, 2 West, 3 Dietrich Bader, 4 Bruce Greenwood, 5 Troy Baker. Blah, blah, blah. Dude, I appreciate it. We're not doing it in like ranking order, but
we'll be getting there. Don't worry.
But we appreciate your support. Bryce Harriet, howdy. You guys got me into reading comics. Thanks for everything. But back on topic. Maybe I'm nostalgic, but The Batman did some fun voice casting. Oh, absolutely. No, everybody
went outside the box.
Yeah, unless you cast the Justice League. And then they were like, oh, no, just get Clancy Brown to play Lex Luthor and get, I think it's Tim, what is it? Tim Daly to play Superman. It was just like, what? It was really weird.
Don't fix it.
Yeah, but it wasn't broke before. Like, why isn't Kevin Conroy Batman then?
I know, right?
Weird. Lex of Power. My top 5 are also, we got a list as well. Read it on the screen. I loved Ackles as Long Halloween. Say what you will about the movie, but he was great. We'll talk about Ackles in a little while.
Definitely, yeah. We have thoughts to share on Ackles.
It's true. Justin got the mustache. Love Kevin's Batman. His Batman could sing. And honestly, Kevin was destined to be Batman. His roommate was Robin Williams.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that.
Williams, who famously wanted to do something in the Batman universe, but the stars just never aligned for him.
Exactly. Let's see. And then we get to that great New Frontier animated adaptation.
Yes.
Jeremy Sisto plays Batman in that one. And
I forgot how good he was, actually.
He's good. He's very
pulpy.
Yeah, he's pulpy. He reminds me of the what's it called? Going back to like the beginning, like with the 30s approach. But he's trying something, which I really appreciated. Like I like that.
And he kills all the speeches that you have to kill in that, when he goes on the whole, I wanted to scare criminals, not children.
Yeah, it's really nice. I also love the line when he's like, I have a, I don't know, I think it was $50,000 piece of asteroid for the one in Metropolis. For you, I need a penny for a book of matches. It's such a good. I mean, that's just Darwin Cook.
It's the strength of the book, but he delivers it so well.
He delivers it so very straightforward, matter of fact. I should point out, I think it was George Newbert who played Superman in the Batman animated series, by the way, not the Batman animated series with Kevin Conroy, but the other one.
Well, because it was Tim Daly, then it was George Newbern for the rest. It's very confusing because it was only Conroy all the way through for the DCU for Batman, but there were actually 2 Supermans.
That's right. Well, Tim Daly plays Kevin Conroy's Superman until the Justice League animated series, but I think George Newbern plays Superman in the Reno Romano, the Batman animated series, but they're not in the same continuity as the original Batman animated series, which of course has George Newbern play Superman. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
And it gets even weirder for the animated movies because they will trade off a bunch. Sometimes Tim Daly will come back, and sometimes it will just be George Newbern.
Just for the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, damn it. Except for Superman versus the Elite, where George Newbern is like just really going for it, just embodying the role. Fantastic stuff. But we're not here for that. But Sisto
will get his own episode.
Exactly. But Sisto does a nice job. It feels a little stilted for me. He doesn't feel as comfortable as Batman. Little like he sounds like he's doing a voice, but of course he is doing a voice because he's Batman doing a voice. So like I get it. I don't know if it's natural or if it's just like I don't know if it's like brilliance or if it's just part of it.
But you got to wonder too, if it was a series and not a movie, would he have gotten more comfortable in the role? Would he have grown into it in a way? Because he can only do so much in one animated movie.
Exactly. Then we switch over to another animated series called Batman the Brave and the Bold, where we got Dietrich Bader. Odd choice.
Very. Drew Carey's buddy from the Drew Carey Show.
100%. That's what I knew him from. How do we rank Jeremy Sisto?
I put him pretty high. I'd give him like a B+.
Yeah, give him a B+, A. I don't care. He seems good.
He's good. He kills the speeches that he has to kill in that story.
Exactly. I don't know if we did it already, but Reno Romano, I'm giving him an A. I think he did a nice job.
There you go. For a whole generation, that was their Batman, and I cannot discount them that.
Yeah. Dietrich Bader, shockingly good.
Right? Like in a way you wouldn't expect. Like we all knew he was going to be funny, but then later on when he gets dramatic stuff, it's like, oh my God, he's a real actor. He can actually go to dark places and make you feel things you were not expecting.
Yeah.
And I would say if Conroy is the definitive dramatic Batman, which I think we're all in agreement of, Bader is the definitive comedy Batman because he's not only here in Brave and the Bold, but they get him back for Harley Quinn.
That's right, and he's great in Harley Quinn as well. It's a good choice because it also it bridges those two worlds in a nice way. I like Bader a lot. I think he nails it. I think that like I would have liked to have heard him in the Ninja Turtles crossover movie.
Oh, that would have been good casting.
That being said, I think he does a great job. I'd say A or S.
Yeah, I almost want to give him an S. I would say he is the yin to Conroy's yang. He is the comedy to the drama is the thing. And the fact that it seems like he's going to keep doing the voice for many years to come now, I think, the best is still yet to come for him.
Yeah, I think, put him up there. Put him up there with A or S. I'm happy.
And just a powerhouse performer in everything else he does, too. Like, he works so consistently. He does stuff you don't even know that he's in.
Right? That's true. Okay, so then we get this movie that, for no good reason, doesn't use Kevin Conroy, and it is just like, it is a straight-up crime. And it's Justice League Crisis on Two Earths.
Yeah.
There's some great voice acting in there.
There is.
You got Gina Torres. You got so many great actors in there. And Batman is played by Billy Baldwin.
Yeah, they really had an obsession with the Baldwins, didn't they, for a little bit? Because they also had the other Baldwin who was Superman.
Stephen Baldwin?
Yeah, Stephen Baldwin in Superman Doomsday. Oh
my God, that's right. What a weird. No, who plays Superman is Jane from Firefly.
Okay, I got my Baldwins mixed up.
Yeah, no, it's weird. That was like, why did you get him to play Superman? That's another show. William Baldwin, he's doing something.
He is.
It passes the sniff test, but it's not. But it's only 2010. Why isn't Kevin Conroy? Like, there's a great because there are so many classic or fantastic Batman moments in this movie. Like, we both looked into the abyss. I mean, you want to hear James Woods' Batman or Owlman versus Kevin Conroy's Batman.
Right.
But instead we get William Baldwin.
That's the problem too. James Woods is giving such a wonderfully unhinged performance as Owlman. He kind of eats the Batman's lunch.
Yeah. Baldwin does his best. Like I said, it glosses over. It's not the worst thing I've ever heard.
No.
But it was very jarring at initially, and I've never heard a good excuse as to why they did it.
There's a lot of could be better in that one.
Absolutely, but it's not the worst. I'd say I'm going to give him a C.
Yeah,
maybe even
fair.
B, just for the abyss line because that's what he's there for.
Absolutely.
And he's also like trying. You know, he is trying. It's odd that they never used him again.
Right.
Because like if you loved him so much and you didn't get Kevin Conroy, then why isn't he Batman in 4 other projects?
This was also in the era when they were really churning out these animated movies faster and faster. And I feel like in some cases, they just picked randomly guys they wanted to work with and guys they wanted to, you know, swap stories with.
It must be. Yeah. The Derpiest of Derp says, Jensen Ackles was worth mentioning as one of the few people to play multiple people in the Bat family. I watched The Long Halloween and hear Jason Todd. Nice. Ali El-Ziadi, not to get off topic, but best on-screen voice for me, it's easily Pattinson. I think he does a great job. I like Keaton as well. I think he does a nice work as well.
It's an embarrassment of riches. There's a lot of really good ones, actually.
I agree with that.
Hell, you know what? I'll even throw fucking Kilmer a bone while I'm at it, because he gives that great, you know, I'm Batman because I choose to be, not because I have to be. I think he actually nailed that one pretty hard.
Okay. I don't like Kilmer as Batman pretty much at all, but I also, you know, it could be worse. It could always be Clooney.
It could be.
Rido says Reno Romano definitely is an underrated Batman. Also, only voiceover I know that has been both Batman and Spider-Man.
Really?
There are a couple of Batman or Spider-Man and I think Superman voice actors, but not a lot of Batman and Spider-Man.
That's impressive.
Because Batman and Spider-Man is so different. You know, you're not going to, if you're thinking Spider-Man, you're not going to think Batman.
Right. But again, youthful, as we said, he brings a youthful exuberance to the role.
Right. Chris Vale says, never catch these live, but I finally quit my soul-sucking retail job. Well, congratulations to you.
Hey.
I hope you have I wish you good success. So I have a little time. Still have a soft spot for Olin Soul. Adored those new Scooby movies episodes as a kid. Yeah,
they live in our brains.
Yeah, I watched a lot of them. But congratulations, man, and good luck to you. The Derpiest of Derps, I think Kevin can also carry corny Batman very well. Watching any Batman clips from Justice League Action, you can tell he's good.
That's true. He did comedy really well. That Justice League Action is just genuinely underrated because it is kind of this weird, unofficial sequel to the original Justice League.
Yeah. I agree. Then we get Under the Red Hood with Bruce Greenwood as my first favorite non-Conroy related Batman.
Likewise.
Pre Dietrich Bader, I didn't watch Brave and the Bold. So I didn't know Dietrich Bader really from anything. So, but I loved Bruce Greenwood. I thought he did a great job.
He did, and he would come back for Young Justice. He's one of the few actors who I think we can undeniably say he made the role his own.
Yep.
And when I'm listening to him as Batman, I'm not thinking of Conroy, which is a rare thing.
It is, yeah. Pretty much for the longest, from Conroy until Greenwood, I had been thinking we could have just gotten Conroy for this.
Yeah.
And this is as a child, by the way. This isn't like as a grumpy adult. But Bruce Greenwood does something with this that's entirely his own. It's completely unique. And while he does cross over into Young Justice, though it's not the same Batman in any way,
no,
he's a welcome addition. Also, this is funny because we're in a world where now we have dueling Batman.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Conroy would only really return once in a while for like an occasional movie, but even then it's so rare. While Dietrich Bader was Batman. But then Bruce Greenwood comes along and we have Conroy being Batman in all of the like Superman Batman crossover movies and every other video game like DC Universe Online, which I was thrilled to hear when I saw that amazing animated trailer.
How good was that?
So cool. Young Justice, though, Bruce Greenwood again, while I think Bruce Greenwood gives this kind of like, it's actually perfect because Greenwood is playing a like mentor Batman. This is a Batman who has multiple Robins. Yeah, he's older, but he's still perfectly capable of being Batman.
He's got some battle scars, man. He's got some baggage. And also, hey, later on in Young Justice, you see kind of a more morally complex Batman too. And it's like we have to use the villain's own tactics against them. Right?
No, I love it. It's good stuff. I'd say Bruce Greenwood, I'm gonna give him an A.
I would even go further. I would say him, Barber, and Conroy. I think they're the holy trinity of Batman. I think they're the new school, the old school, the comedy school. I think the three of them together. And also, man, they haven't cast that new Batman show yet, the one that's going to be headed to Amazon, which I think is really surprising they haven't. But, you know, Greenwood's there if you want it. I'm just saying.
I think they were going to use Conroy.
I think they were going to, too.
So yeah, that's fair. I'll say it. You know what? We have on these ranking shows, we rarely have multiple S tiers. Let's give three S's.
Because
Greenwood, Bader, and Conroy.
By doing that, you're also honoring basically every era of Batman 2 up until this point. And I think that's really important for a character as long-lived as Batman with the voices, where it's like, you know what? They all brought something. They all made the role their own, and they all left their impact in their own way.
Yes, although I will give Conroy SS tier.
So anyway, of course. He gets the golden S+.
Exactly. So Ben McKenzie plays Batman in Batman Year One, and here is where we have our first, for me, face planting of a voice casting.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people gave me a lot of pushback when I complained about Batman Year One because Ben McKenzie's voice really didn't fit for me. But I'm still going to stand by it. I don't like it. I don't think it's the worst, but I do think it was like, you messed up. Like, you have Bryan Cranston playing Commissioner Gordon.
And how good is he in that?
And he's so good. He's like, people want Bryan Cranston to play Jim Gordon today.
Yeah.
Well, God knows you wanted him in 2011. Ben McKenzie is just, and he's given all that clunky Sin City-esque Frank Miller dialogue,
which he's not suited for.
Like, he's doing the voiceover, the monologue, and it just falls flat, especially because it's literally dueling with Gordon's inner monologue, and it's just not there.
It's like, and like so much of it should have been teed up from. It's like, you have one of the greatest Batman speeches of all time in the you've eaten well scene. Like, like the strength of that dialogue alone should carry you. And like, my worst thing about him is, like, I'm not even going to say he's outwardly bad. He left no impression at all on me.
Yeah, this should have been a real, like, if you want to work with people and suddenly cast people like Billy Baldwin in your Batman movies or your cartoons, effing get somebody. Don't get Ben McKenzie. It just didn't work. Honestly, I would have taken the Baldwin over Ben McKenzie because Baldwin knows hackery. He knows how to give like a clunky, exposition heavy, noir dripped dialogue scene. This was just, and otherwise, great movie. Animation was fantastic. Voice casting across the board was great. One of the purest adaptations that they've made.
True.
And yet,
maybe the last truly pure adaptation they made when I started to think about it. And also, how weird is it that McKenzie would come back and play Gordon in live action in Gotham for multiple seasons?
And just to throw him a bone, I liked him. I liked him as Gordon.
That show had a lot of problems, but he wasn't one of them.
Right, but as a Batman, D.
Yeah.
Maybe even F. Because it just, I saw it the one time and I never watched it again. So you know what? I'm going to say F. It was just a fail. It was a total failure.
Shame.
Yeah. And then Troy Baker starts playing Batman. That starts in Lego Batman 2, but he also plays him in like a ton of other things, which includes, I think, Arkham Origins. And
no, that's Roger Craig Smith in
really Roger in the video game.
Yes, I believe that was Roger Craig Smith, who is basically just doing a younger Kevin Conroy.
Yes.
Which, to his credit, is a pretty good sounding young Conroy.
Right. Troy Baker being Batman is Troy Baker playing anybody, unless he's playing the BioShock Infinite.
Yeah, which, don't get me wrong, incredibly talented guy, Troy Baker, one of the most in-demand voice actors for a reason. The man is a machine.
Yes. His Batman, it's fine.
It's just like, this is just another role for him, man. This is just another Tuesday for him.
Exactly. Leaves no impression. It's a pale reflection of Conroy, but he is a voice actor. It's not like it's not like a movie actor that shows up and goes, "What are we doing?" Like, this is fine. I'd say C, middle of the road. Middle of the road. He did the job.
It's perfectly workman. There's nothing outwardly wrong with it, but there's nothing that leaves a strong impression on me. I'm sure it was one of several voice gigs he had that week.
Right, exactly. Then we get Peter Weller as Batman in The Dark Knight Returns Parts 1 and 2, which is really just one movie.
Yeah, which again, as I stated before, I actually like more than you. If you're going to stunt cast it, getting RoboCop to play old broken down Batman is going to be good.
Let me tell you something. I was so hyped for this. When I heard that Peter Weller was going to play Batman, I'm like, great. Although, why don't you just get Kevin Conroy? It's 2013. He's already played The Dark Knight Returns Batman in like visual design, if not in voice. Like, for me, I'm like, I've been so excited about, like, when we got Kevin Conroy, I was like, this is so great because we could get a year one adaptation now in 1993. We didn't, where he could play young Batman, and we can get him as Dark Knight Returns Batman in the future, which we didn't. And both times I was denied, and both times I was justified. I was right. We should have had Kevin Conroy play Batman Year One back in the day, and we should have had him play Dark Knight Returns Batman here. It would have been a great opportunity for him because he's played Batman a million times.
And he's played old Batman too in Batman Beyond.
He has an old Batman voice, but he's also 10 years older than he was when he was making that show. Like, come on, guys.
The timeline lines up much too perfectly. And again, I get it. They wanted to do something different. They wanted it to stand on its own and not be connected to the animated series and everything else. They wanted it to live in its own space. But yeah, in my fanboy mind, I'm like, but I want old Conroy, though.
Yeah, but I wanted old Conroy, and it would have made the movie better. Peter Weller's voice was too light, is the problem. I've done it before. I won't do it again, but it's like his "We Are the Law" speech sucks. It is hard. It doesn't inspire. It doesn't work. The other thing about that movie overall is just that, like, it takes these weird decisions, like these sweeping liberties. And one of the things that it, like, in year one, you could get away with just like doing the movie and not doing all the Frank Miller monologues. Although I think that makes the comic book perfect. You need his inner monologue
because it's like 90% of the story.
And they cut it out.
Yeah, and they try and get some in there with like
they try to weave it into dialogue, and
it's like the bit about the rusty trap. They get that in there.
Yep. But like it just doesn't hit. It is Bruce Timm to a T, because Bruce Timm had a lot of creative freedom. He had a lot of influence over this, and he wanted it to feel like a true adaptation, and it wasn't. Or at least it was a true adaptation in as much as it was what you remember, and everything that you wanted to have happen happened. And we used the visual design cues from the book, but also made random decisions. Is it as egregious as The Killing Joke? Hell no. This is not a failure like The Killing Joke is.
Or any of the stuff that would come afterwards. I think this one stands far and above them, where it's like, man, we'd be lucky if they just took this level of liberties with the others. They didn't change the fucking ending for no reason.
Absolutely. This is just it's disappointing. Peter Weller, I love Peter Weller. I think he's a fun actor. I would love to see him in more things. I think I loved him in Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah.
This is not what I wanted.
I like it a little bit more than you, both the movie and the performance. But like I said, it means more than you. You have a deeper connection to it, and I respect that.
Right, but I appreciate it. Thank you. What was it called? And now, did you watch any of Beware the Batman?
Not only did I watch it, I watched basically the entire thing when I worked at Name Redacted for review.
Yeah. Now, how did you like, what's his name? Anthony Revivar?
Yeah, he grew on me, actually. He's a very cold Batman. He's a very cold and analytical Batman, which is surprising because, they kind of have Katana in that show being like an early proto-Robin. So she's kind of like, his foil and everything. There's a lot of problems with Beware the Batman. The Batman voice was okay. I would actually give him... Yeah, I would give him a solid, pretty okay.
I agree with you. I think he was okay. It reminded me very much of Spike Spiegel.
Yeah, he's not doing a put on. He's doing this effortlessly cool. I'm Batman.
Right, like that's kind of. I assume that's what he sounds like. He doesn't sound like he's trying too hard.
Agreed. Which I like that he brings a certain flavor to it.
Yeah, I like it enough. I don't know if I'd want it all the time, but I think like it matches the aesthetic and the difference of this show. So I dig it. I'm gonna give him at least a B, if not an A. I think he works for that Batman that literally nobody watched.
Yeah, again, it's kind of it's a forgotten gem at this point. Ironically, what is it? That Green Lantern show was happening around the same time.
It's like, whoa, are they the same? No.
Again, man, if they had gone on a little longer, maybe we would have got a crossover. I don't know. But what a weird time in history when it's like, man, this Green Lantern show is eating this Batman show's lunch.
How weird. We also didn't rank Peter Weller. Now, it's fair to say we could have two different rankings. So how would you rank Peter Weller as the Dark Knight Batman?
I'd give him at least a B.
I'll say C, because he is acting, and it's not like he's overacting. If anything, he's underacting.
yeah, fair enough.
All right, so moving on to any other future things. Oh, and then we enter into, of course, the New 52 animated universe, starting with Justice League War. Before we do that, let me jump into some super chats here.
Yes, that's...
What's it called? The Captain Coon says, I met Conroy shortly after Action ended, and that might have been his favorite recent project to play Batman in.
That's nice.
That's really nice. I'm sure he's having fun doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Incidentally, he also plays Batman in a really fantastic little short called Tales of Metropolis, which I would have been very okay getting an entire series of shorts, if not series of shows out of. If you've never watched it, it's free on YouTube. Tales of Metropolis. Watch it. It's this really adorable. Like, there's a great sequence between him and Lois Lane. So great. Definitely check it out. Lex of Power. Aside from Conroy, Bruce Greenwood became a definitive Batman voice. He should do more Batman. Roger Craig Smith is also amazing.
Yeah, both two guys who we gave much deserved love to.
The Derpiest of Derps. I think we need a sister episode for Joker voices. Mark Hamill, John DiMaggio, Kevin Michael Richardson. These are great voices. It would also have the same thing where it's like, oh, so Mark Hamill is number one. Double S tier. Nikki T. I remember Baker on his YouTube channel with Nolan saying he always wanted to be Batman and will always play Batman if they ask him.
I mean, who doesn't want to be Batman? I mean, fair enough. Agree.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, like, it's a sweet job. Our Serial says Troy was Joker in Origins. Later on, he would play the Bat in Telltale series. That's it. He's one of the few to play both. That's right. Yeah,
okay,
he does play both.
I forgot the Telltale series. He's really good in the Telltale series. In fact, I'll say he's better in Telltale.
Agreed.
But that might also be strength of writing too, because it's a story and acting, focused thing.
Yeah. Eric Wu, we're so spoiled living in a timeline where the DC animated universe existed as a 13-year project. Now that Conroy's dead, who do you see as your default Batman? You'd want to see in everything? It used to be Bruce Greenwood, but I'd be okay with any of the other two. Yeah, like either Bruce Greenwood or D. Bradley Baker. No, not D. Bradley Baker. God, I do like D. Bradley Baker. He's a fun voice actor. But
he just does sound effects for Batman.
Right now, he also plays Steve in the American Dad show, and
that's right.
Other things. Anyway, but I like Dietrich Bader as well. Moving on. So yeah, then we get into the Justice League War nonsense, where we really are just like, oh, that was like a point where I'm like, oh my. These aren't for me anymore.
Yeah,
because Jason O'Mara comes in with his British accent, and he, I will admit, because I would periodically check in with these things. Like I check in with these movies because I was like, Justice League War is terrible, and I couldn't get into it. And
it's based on a lackluster comic book storyline that does very little to improve upon it.
Right, I didn't watch Throne of Atlantis. Like, I don't think I saw Son of the Batman, but I did watch Batman versus Robin.
I did watch these.
Right, like, yeah, of course, because like that was our job. But like I did notice that he was getting better at Batman by Batman versus Robin. But in Justice League War, he is awful.
They're all pretty rough and pretty miscast in that one, which is a real shame. They're like, hey, this is the new universe. We're running with this now.
They were way too successful in making Hal Jordan just a dick.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear. I was like, I don't want to hear that ever again. that Green Lantern, I don't want to hear his voice ever again.
And that's sadly very accurate to how he was being written in the New 52 at the time, which was itself an extension of the movie at the time.
He was way too successful, poor guy. But then Jason O'Mara shows up and he's like he's just constantly just chewing through his British accent, trying to give us something else. And I'm just like, I'm sure that you could probably get, I don't know, 9,000 American men to play Batman. Any of them. And I'll bet 8,000 of them are SAG actors. But you're going to go, I'm going to get a British guy who can't really hack an American accent. Like, what are you doing?
Feels like they were going with name recognition more than anything.
What? Who is this man?
I mean, he'd been in other things before. He'd been in, productions.
Yeah. Well, he sucks. And
I didn't like it.
Never gets better. He does get better, but
he gets better. Damian gets better too, because they were in more of these than anyone else, because they fucking made more Batman ones than anything.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. So that was a thing, and he sucked. And while no one is as bad as they were in War, and I'm not going to judge him overall as War, I'm just going to judge him overall as Batman. I'm going to say he was a D-list Batman.
That's pretty fair. And yeah, I mean, it had to be something special because, like we said, everyone is miscast in War and everyone is kind of phoning it in that one, in that era. So the fact that he could rise to the top of that and be like, no, you got the problem.
Right. Oddly enough, they're like, yeah, let's throw everyone from the Justice League out.
Yeah.
Except for him.
Yeah, because we got that. It's the new 52 era. We're doing everything different. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater every time, guys.
Right? And then there was Roger Craig Smith. I think it starts with Batman Unlimited Animal Instincts, but moves on with other things. And I like him a lot. I thought he did a really good job.
He's doing a young Conroy. He's definitely channeling that. I don't want to call it an impression because that's kind of unfair to him. I think it might have started as an impression, but he kind of inhabited it, and eventually it became his own character.
Yeah, I think he does a nice job. I'd say I'd give him like a B. I think he did a really good job. Maybe even A.
Solid.
He's a solid Batman. He does it. He does the work. So now we get to Lego Batman with Will Arnett from Arrested Development.
Yes.
Now you said you have some opinions about Will Arnett. Let's hear it.
Yes, I think I like him way more than you actually. I think he really does a good job playing a pompous, out-of-touch rich guy. And also the weird meta-narrative that is attached to Lego Batman, because there's only one Lego Batman movie, but he's in the other two Lego movies as well. And it's kind of this weird, like, pop culture deconstruction of Batman, because he is Batman the guy, but he's also representative of Batman as a franchise. And then you pull back a layer even further. It's like, but he's not really Batman, though. He's Will Ferrell's kid playing with a Batman figure. So he's this immature child. So it's like it's a role within a role, and I think Will Arnett plays this unhinged, flandernized, worst aspects of Batman turned up 100% because it's an annoying little boy playing him. I think he does that very well. I think he's very funny. I don't think he's Dietrich Bader funny, but I think he's like right under there where it's like I enjoy this character and I like pulling back the layers on this performance.
Interesting. I didn't think of it in that regard. I was just more like, you're doing a bad Christian Bale impression, and he is. But I think all that baggage associated with it gives it more depth. And I don't know if Will Arnett is. I think this is one of those things where the English teacher is trying to tell you what the novel is about, and then the author shows up and says it's just the color of the couch is just blue. It doesn't mean anything. I think Will Arnett would say, I'm just doing a bad Christian Bale impression. I'm not thinking about any of the layers. But that's really more a job of the director. So hopefully the director was the one who elicited this from him.
He does have some really good quotes there.
As well. Right? No, he's
that live as sound effects forever now.
Exactly. He's funny. He's not Batman to me. Like, this is not like a Batman voice. This is just kind of like him doing something.
Yeah, he's a guy playing Batman, but that might also be the point. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like you said, maybe I'm just putting too much onto it.
It could be, but listen, but for me, I don't even regard it. Like, I'm just kind of like, is he a good Batman voice? He's not really even playing Batman.
He's playing an interesting character named Batman.
Right. He's playing an impression of Batman as opposed to him playing Batman. Like, I don't look at it that way. But I understand, like, the approach. So feel free to rate him based on your
I would give him a B or a B+. He's a very fascinating take on the character. He's one I think of a lot when I think of the character, and also Batman's relationship to comedy, because he's a very funny character in those Lego movies, but he doesn't want to be funny, and he doesn't think he's funny. He thinks he's very serious and cool and hardcore, which is very much a commentary on Batman in the post, what is it, Dark Knight Returns world, where it's like, I'm a serious character for adults. No, you sell toys and cereal. Come on, man, calm the fuck down.
Absolutely. No, that's fair. Really quick, I should point out that Jason O'Mara, not that the commenters who already corrected me have pointed it out, but Jason O'Mara is Irish, not British. Excuse me. Such is the way of things. But really quick, Scuba J, I think all the voices for the new DC animated movies were noticeably worse than previous work. I think their voice casting hasn't recovered. I agree. I think that it really has never. Yeah.
I hate to admit it, but
right? I don't think it's ever really bounced back. And now we're in a weird place where it's just like, here are some people who play Batman now. Like,
I mean, it's
I didn't see Soul of the Dragon. Did you see Soul of the Dragon?
Oh, yeah, I did. Soul of the Dragon's actually one of the few really fucking good ones, actually.
Okay, so how do you like David Giantoli?
he's doing a 70s guy take on Batman.
Right.
But it's pretty good. Also, even though it's called Batman Soul of the Dragon, it's not really about him.
No, I know. Yeah, it's about like the rest of them, right?
It's about the rest of them.
By way of show these other characters by way of Batman.
Yeah, he does a really good supporting role in that. That's what I would say.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I like him. I would also say he's B tier as well.
Fair enough. Jensen Ackles returns to play Batman in the new DC universe, which starts with The Long Halloween Parts 1 and 2.
What an interesting career trajectory he had by being arguably the best Red Hood we've ever had in anything.
I know. It's a weird choice. He does a nice job with it. I'm not going to complain. I don't necessarily like those movies, but I do think that he's fine.
Yeah, I mean, again, Long Halloween has a lot of problems. He is not one of those problems.
Right.
He's trying hard. You get good speeches with him, too, like the one with him and Gordon in front of the money and everything, and you could tell they really cared about that scene. They really cared about a couple scenes. I get the feeling their whole modus operandi was, if we just nail these big scenes, then the movie will work. Kind of doesn't, especially in the second half, because, again, they start changing shit.
Yep, exactly. And then, did you check out that Injustice movie? Because I've seen scenes from it, so I can speak to Anson Mount playing Batman. This is very much a phoned-in performance. I don't have any love for this Batman.
I did not see it, though, as someone pointed out to me. One of the extras actually looks like me, right down to my beard style getting murdered by Injustice Superman. So nice. But maybe I shouldn't watch it.
It's a bastardization of the material because it's trying to condense a lot into one thing.
Like, why would you even?
Why bother? I mean, Injustice is one of those things where it's like you could have just made you could have just kept making movies. You could have made like 1 million of movies out of Injustice. Why did you do it all in one movie?
Yeah, like this should have been a series. Like, what the hell?
Anson Mount, C. It's just he's a C- of a performer. He's just he wasn't bad. It was just by this point, I'm used to being disappointed. So whatever.
I'll take your word for it. Like we said, by and large, a lot of these new voices were like, I wouldn't have done that.
100%. Like Ethan Hawke playing Batman in the Batwheels TV show.
Is he really? Is that actually Ethan Hawke?
Evidently, yeah. And it's like for me, it's in the same category as the next choice, which is Keanu Reeves as Batman in the DC League Super Pets movie.
Oh shit, that was him too.
that was Keanu Reeves. I think Ethan Hawke and Keanu Reeves. They're playing Ethan Hawke and Keanu Reeves. They're there to have their names on the marquee. Yeah, Keanu Reeves playing Batman. It's like, I understand. Like, if I knew nothing about if I had no Rolodex in my brain of actors, and I had never heard a Batman cartoon show in my life, and I was like a 65-year-old like Warner Brothers executive, I would definitely pick Keanu Reeves because Keanu Reeves kind of sounds a little bit like this already.
But when he talks in those John Wick movies, which is honestly not that much because he has given a hell of a physical performance, especially as those movies go on, they get better when he says less, weirdly enough.
Agreed. Ethan Hawke, he's doing more than Keanu is. I'd say Ethan Hawke is a D because it's stunt casting, and Keanu Reeves is pretty much a D or an F. It's just kind of like, okay, like, what do you do? Like, you shouldn't be you shouldn't be here. It's just a straight up thing where it's like, you shouldn't be here. Like, get out of the way. Get out of the way of people. Like,
it is funny to get an actor like Ethan Hawke, where it's like, 20 years ago, I probably could have auditioned for this role in live 100%. Action.
No, I would have been like, I actually would have been pretty okay with Ethan Hawke playing Batman at some point in the past, probably during like the Gattaca days. But
yeah, he's got them crazy eyes, doesn't he? He's got like there's something not well behind these eyes.
Exactly. Corey McGivney says Jason O'Mara improved quite a bit over time. By Hush, I think I was pretty comfortable with him in the role, like with Kevin and Troy. I love how both of them, how much they played the character.
He did get better, like we said. He got more kicks at the can at that role than just about anyone in the New 52 era. So I should hope he have gotten better.
No, he does, and thank you for your support, man. He does get better, but he also should never have played Batman in the first place. Ray Farr, ComicPop Woo.
A miscasting is still a miscasting.
Exactly. I know Sal isn't a fan, but I like Weller's Batman and TKR animated film. I also really appreciate Dietrich Bader. R.I.P. Kevin. Agreed. Yeah, no. These are all valid points, my friend. He also says, I think Bruce Greenwood did a great job too. There you go. Okay, so then we get to, Gotham Knights, the video game, Michael Antonakos plays him, and obviously he's not really a big character. You can't play him or anything.
I never played the game, period. Actually, I heard too many bad things. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna play this then.
Yeah, his Batman is it's whatever. It's fine.
He's basically just at the beginning and the end because it's about the sidekicks.
Exactly. He plays a Batman well enough. He is doing a thing. Like he's acting, he's working. I'd say it's probably between C and B. Because it doesn't really he's doing an A job because it's not about him and you don't want to have more. So for you it's just kind of like he gets out of the way. He gets in.
Fair.
Good for you, man. But like as a Batman, it's not really that exciting. Justice League versus Ruby.
Never saw it.
Batman, he sounds like a little boy, little baby.
Makes sense because it's all animated up.
Yep. Nope. That's an F. F. Just no. How about the Doom that came to Gotham?
Oh, I meant to watch this. People said it was actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, this is David Giantoli,
really,
who also played him in The Soul of the Dragon. So everything we said about that, he does a nice job with the Doom that came to Gotham. It'd be funny if he played the Elseworlds Batman. Just have him play Elseworlds Batman from here on out.
I'd be fine with that too, because they make a lot of these friggin' Elseworld Batman things. So why the hell not?
Right? Oddly enough, then there's another Justice League Ruby, and that one also has Troy Baker as Batman. But whatever, moving on. And that brings us up to now, where there's going to be a Batman Caped Crusader, which should have been on Max, but isn't because Max is stupid.
Yep.
And they brought it over to Amazon, and they haven't cast that Batman yet.
Damn it, Amazon, you evil corporation. Stop saving all the shows I like this and Pantheon and everything.
Exactly. So overall, I think we have a pretty good list of like some of the most recognizable voices and some of the least recognizable voices.
Yeah.
For Batman in animation, we even got a couple of video games. Although I really didn't want to delve too much into video games because
that's a whole thing unto itself.
Yeah, and I don't want to do a show about it because I don't care. Like I'm not going to do like the Batman Arkham Underworld game or friggin' whatever. Like
Rise of Sin. Although actually, I think that was Conroy in that one.
Right, exactly. But yeah, so Shun Tzu, that was definitely Conroy. But yeah, overall, what do you think? Any surprises?
I mean, honestly, I think there was more good ones than bad ones in this. I think by and large, Batman has had an embarrassment of riches for people who have voiced him over the years. They clearly, most of the time, put a lot of thought and effort to it, and a lot of people really rise to the occasion.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just kind of like, oh, like that's. He lends himself to a kind of like assumption that Batman would be easy to play because all I have to do is be like gruff. Dark or grizzled or gruff. But like there is a level of acting that is required, and there is a way you can screw it up. Like there are a couple of like real heavy duds across the pantheon.
The highs are highs and the lows are low.
Yeah, the lows are surprising. It's always like it's the worst is when you sit down, you're going to watch a cartoon and you're really excited, and suddenly that like a voice you don't expect in a really bad, jarring way.
But it takes you out of it. That's good.
It just shakes you out of the damn thing.
But when I'm very aware of the actor who's doing it's like, come on, man, you're just this guy.
Yeah, come on, what are you doing? Like. You almost want these actors to kind of like go, wait, no, don't cast me. I'm terrible. I would be bad at this. I would ruin this character. I would not, but they're all just working stiffs who just want to get a gig. And I get that. I
hear it, man. I agree.
The Milkman says MJF is supposedly in the Justice League Ruby movie.
Is he seriously? Holy shit. That's interesting.
Who's MJF?
That's Maxwell Jacob Freeman, the top star for AEW wrestling right now.
Well, enjoy.
He's also doing like a lot of acting. Like he's going to be in that A24 movie about the Von Erichs as well.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
We'll unfortunately we'll have to add him to the list later on.
There we go.
CJ Hall, ComicPop Woo. Shout out to Joel, my fellow Canadian.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello. What is it? Oh, Canada. That's the expression.
Yes, a happy O Canada to you as well.
Yeah. Oh, did we not rank Adam West? I'd say A. I mean, like he gives you a new like no one plays him like him, and
it's true.
And you know what? He's clearly acting. He's doing a thing, and it's
he's informed the character, and he's been in so much for so long. You gotta give the man his due.
It's true. I don't know if I would want him to look, just because like I would make somebody an S or an A doesn't mean that I want them to play Batman in everything.
Every time.
You know, like I wouldn't want Kevin Conroy to play like Adam West Batman because
Same.
like it would just be so jarring and weird. Similarly, I want to see you know, I like Adam West as his version of Batman.
Indeed.
But yeah, so and I've heard Adam West do darker, more like interesting interpretations of Batman, and it's like fun.
Yeah, didn't he read like Dark Knight Returns? Didn't they do a thing for one of those Batman documentaries where they switch scripts?
Yeah, and it's fun. I kind of dug it.
Oh, he does the scene where he's threatening the mutant. Hey, you have a mother, don't you, punk?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's weird. It's like your grandpa being disappointed in you.
Very much so, which like almost makes it even creepier because of that.
Yeah. Somebody asked if we did rank Rita Romano. I gave him an A. Yeah. I don't know about you. I thought I'm pretty sure I did that already. But
yeah, you know, I'm softening on his performance as I get older and realizing that, you know, I was a bit of a shitty teenager when he was in the role and I never gave him his chance, but he is the voice of Batman for a whole generation. I'm not going to take that away from him.
Well, and I like it. Like, you know, whenever I watch the show, it's not like if I decide like, oh, I'm going to watch some of those like New 52 movies, it's really tough. It's a slog. Just like with Christ on Two Earths, where I'm like, this is cool. I just, why did you make it Billy Baldwin? Like, what's the matter with you guys? You know, it's a shame. With the Batman, I'm like, yeah, I'm just in the show. You know, the show lives and dies based on the strength of the show, as opposed to just like whoever was horribly miscast as Batman.
Yeah.
But so we want to thank you so much for your support. Thank you to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show and making sure that the riffraff stays out of it. Thanks to Joel for joining us today. And if you have your own ranking, let us know in the comments down below if you're catching the show after the fact, or if you're listening to the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating to help us out. And we'll see you guys next time with another episode of Elseworlds Exchange. Before we go, we should mention that at least me and my crew will be at New York Comic Con this upcoming weekend. Not this weekend that is coming up in 24 hours, but rather the following weekend, which is to say the 13th, etc. So if you are at New York Comic Con or you're coming to New York Comic Con, come look for us. We will definitely be letting you know where we are and what we're doing and when we're doing it through our social medias. So make sure to follow us on youtube.com/ComicPop and ComicPop Returns, and on all other various social media outlets. You will make sure that you are not left out in the cold if you are coming out to the cold New York City world. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys next time. Also, don't forget to check out youtube.com/CapeJoel for all your Cape Joel needs.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next week, or next time. Not next week, because next week we'll be at New York Comic Con, but you know, we'll see you soon. There's plenty of other videos for you to watch. Listen, go through the archive. I promise there's a video you didn't watch, like that really fun Writers Guild episode that I had with Gina. You got to watch that one, and you got to check out All Stars with Josh. So you got plenty of work to cut out for you before you get to the next episode of Elseworlds Exchange. So long, everybody.
Bye-bye.